Welcome to BW Businessworld. This is another special feature of Founders Lounge. Today, I have with me a very special guest who actually doesn't need any introduction. Our very own Kaira, Zehmat, Badru, Gangubai, and whatnot. But today, we are going to talk to her about a new role that's of an entrepreneur. She introduced her brand a couple of months ago in August last year, Edamama, and we are here to discuss the plans, the ideas, and the strategy going forward for the brand. Please help me welcome a charming and a multifaceted personality, the face of Indian film industry, Miss Alia Bhatt. A very warm welcome.
Thank you. Thank you so much for a warm, very lovely introduction.
Thank you so much for joining us. To straight away start this conversation, we would love to know the idea, the story behind the brand. In August, when you decided to start and launch your brand, you have an idea and focus to help the planet Earth and, of course, the children when you decided to launch Edamama as a sustainable brand. Tell us about the whole story, the idea behind the brand, and your passion, of course.
So I'm going to definitely first start off by saying that we actually launched Edamama in 2020, which was 3 years ago. It started with the idea of doing a brand that I would build from scratch. When looking for what to do, what not to do, I didn't want to do just a regular fashion wear brand for girls or women my age because there were already so many brands like that. I asked for the gap in the market, and it seemed to all of us, and after a couple of months of research, that there was a genuine gap for a Indian homegrown kids wear brand. Even more so, Indian homegrown sustainable clothing kids wear brand. Even more so, Indian homegrown sustainable affordable kids wear clothing brand. So it all started from there. We were meant to launch in 2020 April, but then the world was hit with the pandemic. Everything changed. Everybody was a bit confused. So we sat with our spring summer inventory for a couple of months until we decided that we should not hold on any further. And in the month, and during autumn winter, we launched a spring summer collection. And the way we launched was pure product to consumer. We did not do a big marketing, hoo-ha. I didn't even talk about the brand. We just went live straight away with our products and our storytelling, and we were sold out in a couple of weeks, most of it. And that's when I think our big learning came, was that as long as the story is correct and the product is correct and the positioning is correct, then there's no stopping. So that's where it started from. And as I mentioned about the story, I consider myself a storyteller more than an entrepreneur. I am an entrepreneur now and I am a founder of the brand Edamama because I've put in my own money into the brand. But for me, what was most important with any brand, from what I understand, is where its inception was, where the story came from. So Edamama started as a story of a little girl and her pet dog, Ed, and going on these adventures and, really learning about the world and the environment and the planet and interacting with animals. I have a deep, deep, deep love for animals and the world and the environment and the planet that we live on. And I have lots of regard and respect. And I think for us to really protect our planet in the future is to nurture very early in children a love for nature. And that's where the brand ethos also came from. So you see, when we say we're sustainable, a sustainable clothing brand, we're not just claiming that we are. We have sustainable practices, we have sustainable fabrics, soft fabrics, we have azure-free dyes. We meet all those various standards and tick marks and check marks that we need to be considered as a sustainable clothing brand. We are also one of the first few kids wear brands that went into a new category called the green denims category, where our denims do not leave off that residue that is extremely harmful for the environment. So there is a lot of learning that we've had, but our thought and ideology from the very beginning was that it has to be a sustainable clothing brand. It has to meet all sustainable needs, and it has to be extremely comfortable and easy and happy for kids to live in.
So good to know. With all these parameters, homegrown, sustainable, affordable kids wear brand, I'm sure you must have dealt with many, many challenges as well. Building a brand from scratch is not an easy thing at all. And nobody else could have understood this better than you. Tell us about some of the early challenges you had, especially when you decided to have this brand as a multi-product brand as well.
Yeah.
What were some of the early challenges in respect to build the brand, let's say from the growth perspective, building up the products, connecting with the customers? What were some of the early challenges?
So I think we're a bootstrap company, so our team was extremely tiny, but all the right people with the right intentions. So my business head Ifat and all of us in collaboration. Of course, we had a certain plan and a certain vision for the brand. Come April, we were supposed to do this big live launch and have kids kind of enjoy the clothes and do like a massive launch. All of that changed when we were faced with the pandemic. Obviously, we were not the only people who faced this. But I think what happened is, even though we launched in the month of September, October, we didn't sort of have that ground connect beyond and above a point. A lot of when you put a sustainable clothing brand together, your fabrics are very important. So a lot of the sourcing had to be bang on, and that does become challenging when you're not really allowed to move up and about. So early on, we did face a lot of those challenges, but I think the brand and the people associated with the brand, our core team, did very well because we didn't really limit ourselves to a particular position. Everybody was sort of doing everything from marketing to PR to strategy to brand building to design, to putting the whole campaign together. Everybody was kind of snowballing into different roles. And I think that's what kind of helped us deal with these challenges even better, because there was a lot of passion and dedication involved. Of course, everybody's passionate and dedicated, but we really consider this like a family grown brand. And that helped us get through those challenging phases. Even now, for example, when we launched maternity was a category that I actually decided to go with because I was filling a gap in my existing wardrobe when I was pregnant. It's very difficult to find stylish, cool maternity clothing wear in India if you have to either travel from Europe to America. And if you're not traveling, then how are you going to get those clothes? It becomes extremely challenging. And what I also faced was something that I found the styles of maternity were extremely cutesy and extremely frumpy. I was not really finding that it met my personal sense of style. So we launched with what I would prefer to wear and a gap that I was filling in my wardrobe. But instantly, the feedback that we got, it was a fabulous feedback. In about 3 weeks, we sold 80% of our inventory. But what we understood from the feedback was that we were missing nursing adaptable maternity wear, which you can wear through pregnancy and beyond, which is through the nursing phases, which basically means it's all your front opening clothes. As I mentioned, we're a sustainable clothing brand, so even our buttons are not made of plastic. So then we focus on the complete nursing collection, extremely light lilac colors, mint green, lounge sets, all stuff that I would want to wear after having a baby, sitting at home, but still needing and wanting to look fresh and happy and comfortable, and also meeting your nursing goals. So that was proper direct consumer feedback that we got. So I would say I would use the word challenges on a daily basis that one faces, but challenges that only help you grow and only help you understand the market better.
Of course, I strongly agree on this with you. And I also am enjoying your storytelling. You are surely a very amazing storyteller as well, along with being an entrepreneur. You talked about the market gap and the proposition Edamama is posing right now for the Indian market. But then the now point here is to discuss how actively people are making the sustainable choices when it comes to kids wear and it comes to maternity wear. Uh, what kind of response it has been for you, and also what are some of the prominent changes you've observed across the population when it comes to making a sustainable choice, I can say.
So I think we also face one of the major challenges we faced initially is that this idea that sustainable clothing is not affordable. So even now, we have to constantly sort of sell that narrative loud and clear, and that may hold us back maybe from exploring certain styles that have, like, extremely puffy sleeves and lots of sequins and lots of glitter and stuff like that, because that doesn't fall into our sustainable practices. So we may miss out on those styles and those textures, but we're giving you something much better, which is a conscious understanding of the planet and world that we live in. So you naturally gravitate more towards, I think I would say, the generation that is growing up now naturally gravitates more towards sustainable clothing and sustainable practices. And especially now with infants, we're launching infant collection. I can tell you as a mom, I would not let any item close to my child that is not safe. You're constantly looking for safe, um, of course, affordable, but safe childcare. So even hopefully in the future, when we venture into other categories, for example, personal care, that's going to be a whole um, load of research and understanding put together, because testing products on children, to make sure that they are safe, you can't take that chance. You don't want your child to get some allergic reaction and stuff like that. So even the infant clothing that we have, they are all saliva tested, because a lot of times kids put their clothes into their mouth and they're biting their fabric. So you have to make sure your fabrics are the dyes are azo free. You have to make sure that your fabrics are soft. We use the extra fabric for trims and stuff on the clothes, so that there's a certain understanding and an intention which is very positive towards childcare, environment care, and all of that. So coming back to the storytelling, if you build a generation of young eco warriors, young planeteers now, then in the future, 10, 12, 15 years from now, won't we have an environment which is much safer for us and for our children to live in? So I think the ideology is to sell that narrative, and to also sell the narrative that it's affordable. Our brand is pure masstige. We don't want to cut our audience down and go extremely niche and premium. It is premium quality. It's good quality. It's premium understanding. It's premium palettes, but it's affordable. So I think I feel very proud about it, because that was something that I was extremely clear about, that I don't want to alienate a certain section of my audience, especially when it comes to kids wear brands, because I now understand how fast kids grow out of clothes. You have to keep buying new clothes. So why would you do that? You know what I mean? Why would you continuously spend that money and not be able to, afford it a couple of months down the line and say, okay, bahut ho gaya types.
I was watching your introductory video of Edamama, where you discussed about how sustainable the clothes are. The buttons are plastic free, and you also offer a pocket
Seed
of
ball.
seed balls to let kids plant trees, and also you encourage and you kind of send out a message of passing on the clothes to other kids.
Yes.
And that's a very important one. And of course, in your last response, you talked about affordability quotient. It's very important in a price conscious market like India. Also, Alia, recently Edamama also launched their teenage line as well. What are some of the other plans, or what are some of the other verticals you try to and you plan to launch going forward? What more do you have on your drawing board?
Yes, I mean, speaking about teenage, I'm glad you mentioned it, because like our practices remain the same, but it's so funny. But like what you would do for in infants collection, you would maybe not, obviously not do for a teenage collection, and we changed the the connotation also, that we made it ed heads, because it's more cool, it's more young, the attitude changes. So we want even the styles, the clothing, even the way we shot the campaign and stuff like that, if there's a certain attitude to it. When it comes to our kids wear brand, it's all out in the open, it's all playing with nature, it's getting dirty, it's like really living out there, because I don't think there's any larger, greater entertainment than children interacting with nature. Movies, TVs, everything aside, that is the true sense of joy where you actually learn and grow. And even with infants, we went with this extremely like cool, sketchy thing. We had to be very, very particular with the shooting with young, little babies. It had to be, mothers had to be very, very comfortable. So we took all those things into consideration and made so every kind of category has a certain mood, attitude, and tonality to it. So we pay a lot of attention to that. Going forward, as I said, and I don't think I mentioned this before, for me, the idea of Edamama is to not just have it stop at fashion, is to create a world of Edamama. By world of Edamama, I mean right from the time you wake up in the morning, my dream is that you're using one Edamama product after another for yourself and for your child and for your baby. So that's going into the um, educative toys category, going into stories, talking to your child, talking to your babies, having them listen to stories is such a great way of education as well. So going into the stories of Edamama, where every story has a certain sort of message with it: kindness, hope, joy, giving, understanding. Um, Hopefully turning that into animation series as well, because as we know, at the end of the day, children are going to consume content visually. So give them that educative content, but also entertaining and really beautiful. Um, and then personal care, which is all the products that you use on their body, on their face, stuff like that. Possibilities are endless, and hopefully eventually, when we do, right now currently we're across 22 lifestyle stores in the country, the goal is to have our exclusive offline Edamama store, which is an experience based store. So you can come in and get Edamama products, but you can also come in and have an experience where it really becomes sort of playtime.
So good to know. I'm looking forward to such fun things, fun content, and fun clothing line, and along with being fun and creative, a sustainable one as well. You talked about, Alia, opening stores. This is a one prominent trend we are witnessing in D2C sector, that brands are now going forward to listen to their customers, dealing with them, sharing an experience with them. So opening stores is a new trend across the D2C market. Uh, what, in your opinion, what is required for women entrepreneur, if I come to this stance, or let's say mompreneur? What is expected from the whole startup ecosystem to encourage the businesses or startups started by mompreneurs and women entrepreneurs?
I didn't understand your question.
So my question is, in your opinion, what is required? What do you expect as a woman entrepreneur in order to excel in this entrepreneurial journey?
I think have an idea that strongly believe in, and the storytelling has to be organic and authentic. For me, I was very fortunate enough to put my own money, my own venture, my own capital into a business like Edamama, and finding that core team that really understood and believed in the brand. So I also have, one of my closest friends. She's my best friend. She started her own clothing wear brand and she did it all by herself, and she's running it all by herself. So a lot of the times there are sleepless nights. A lot of times there's failures. A lot of the times there's many learnings. But if you really have that brand which is filling a gap in the market, and there's a lot of listening to the consumer and understanding what's working and what's not working, I think that's a great way to start and then move forward.
Listening is critical. I agree.
Listen. Yeah, but I think even for us, like for me in the movie industry, in the film industry, when a film doesn't do well, it's not just that people didn't understand it. No, it's not that. There's something that you did which did not connect with the people. So you have to take mark and you have to learn from it. And so far, even with Edamama, like I mentioned about the nursing collection, the nursing collection came from consumer feedback. We started with regular maternity, stylish wear, but we were missing a solid nursing collection. So that came from consumer feedback. And like that, I think going forward as well, it will always be you have to keep like one year really, really close to the ground. Of course, not sort of confuse your strategy, but understand what the unanimous feedback is.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I agree. At this point in time, I want Nitesh to come in and ask us questions.
Hello, ma'am. Can you please tell us more about your marketing and brand building strategies, especially in a fast growing e commerce market where brand loyalty is a major concern?
Yeah, I think I totally agree when it comes to brand loyalty. I think that was one of the first things that we said, that in terms of its pitch and understanding, of course, marketing PR one side, that's a separate conversation altogether. Your brand has to be reliable and relatable. It has to be something that people come back to and would like to invest their time and money into consuming that product and making it a part of your day-to-day life. So in that sense, the product has to be really, really good. So like I said, we're not just saying we're a sustainable clothing brand, we are a sustainable clothing brand, and we meet all those necessary points that require you to be a sustainable clothing brand. When it comes to our marketing and brand building strategy from the very go, when we launched kids wear, which is ages 4 to 12, we were always building one narrative, is that we are children of Mother Earth. So children of Mother Earth are responsible towards their planet and responsible towards their environment. So all our campaigns were always children being a part of their clothing. It's clothes for children to live in, play with, play in, get dirty in, take naps in, sleep in, just basically live in. And that has been a core point of our marketing campaign and our marketing visuals. We started off exclusively for 6 months on First Cry, but then we did build to other marketplaces as well. And we've seen incredible response. For example, we are one of the top 5 brands on major marketplaces like Myntra and Ajio. We started off with 160 styles. Now we're capping across more than 2,000 styles. So there has been consistent growth in the brand that we're very, very happy with. But the narrative has always been the same from the beginning.
Yes, ma'am, you have rightly mentioned, like whenever we talk about talk about carbon footprint, we always forget to mention about clothing and all. So it's a high time to
Yes,
it's a high time to
100%.
say like clothing, and we should all include clothing as well in counting our carbon footprints. So, ma'am,
100%.
moving to our next question, what are some of your plans towards fundraising and attracting investments for your business? Any specific strategy regarding the same?
See, as I said from the beginning, this is something that I have started out of my own money. I put in my own money and investment into the brand Edamama. It is my venture and my capital only. I'm not looking for an investor fortunate enough to have the kind of capital to put into a brand like Edamama and the capital that is required for us to even grow. What I am looking for maybe soon is a partner, and that partner is someone who has to resonate with the brand ideology and understand um, all our expansion plans and our growth plans, etc., etc. So currently, no strategy as such. Just doing what we can to make the brand um, a reliable one, and the partner will follow.
Yes, ma'am, I agree with you, ma'am. Sustainability is a very important topic to be like mentioned about, and it's very important. Like your partner, be it investor and anyone else, should be like synchronized with your idea as well to continue with your future endeavors. So, what do you, Risha, ma'am?
Thanks, Nitesh.
Jury.
Alia, being a successful actor, an entrepreneur now, an investor already, and of course, a mother to a young little charming soul, Raha. How do you even manage your time juggling between multiple roles across the band? What is your plan, and how well you would do justice to your business? How well do you plan to invest your time in your business building?
Well, I have to invest time. It's very important because otherwise the brand will lose authenticity, and that's something that I have been very clear about from the very beginning. So right from the time when I was extremely busy shooting back to back, I would take Zoom meetings in my car, sometimes in the middle of lunch while doing hair and makeup. I make sure to make the time. If you put your heart and mind to it, it'll all follow. And again, say that I think women are meant to multitask. So I'm sure you would agree with that. Multitasking is sort of in our DNA. It is not easy, most definitely. Sometimes I do feel like, oh my God, have I taken too much on at one time? But I'm also that kind of person who loves challenge. I like to set goals for myself and I like to meet them. My mindset has always been of an entrepreneur, has always been of a creator. I like being a part of creative processes and now creation processes. I want to create reliable worlds and brands for our country, and I would like to be one of those people that is involved in taking a homegrown Indian brand and a homegrown Indian story to the global market. And that's always been an endeavor. So all this requires time management, I know, but I think I manage it pretty well. So far, so good.
I know, and I could see your passion towards every stream of your work you do, and that's commendable. Commendable. It's of course most definitely not the easy task to do on the planet, but you're doing it the best. I saw on your Instagram it says currently dreaming. You are the lady. You are the woman who keeps on dreaming, and of course you being in your creator mode all the time. What is more on your dream to do list? You are already an investor, an entrepreneur, an actor, a successful, uh, I mean, a face in the Indian film industry. And what more is coming?
Well, I think for me, with that tagline, currently dreaming is not needing really. It's for me just being extremely grateful for the position I am in my life, of all the opportunities that come my way. So you know how sometimes they say, "Oh my God, this is like a dream," because dream come true. Dreams are, give you that vibe of how everything is just um, sort of falls into place and goes very well. And that's the way I feel. Even on a bad day, I feel like even the bad day is here to teach me something, which is leading me to a positive day. For me, the balance of having um, passion, understanding, kindness, great people, a great sort of drive and zest for life is like a dream. So that's why I say currently dreaming. I don't put too many taglines on abhi this next tick mark, that next tick mark. Of course, we have the tick marks for a brand like Edamama because we need to have our brand strategy planned out. So we have that in place.
Of course.
But on a day-to-day basis, for me, it's just sort of seeing how things pan out, really going with instinct, going with gut, not being greedy, but being passionate and dedicated.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for joining in. On this note, we would like to conclude this conversation. It was amazing. It was amazing. On behalf of BW Businessworld, I wish to say thanks, and it's been a great conversation. Thank you so much, Alia,
Thank
for joining.
you.